Had a call with a client yesterday, and this question came up. So who knows? It might be on your mind as well.
What would your opinion be, David? Like, so, because right now we have this form, you know, if you're interested in partnering with us and, fill in your company, all the information we need, and then we get that via email. Should that form be, because I think that there's sometimes where, okay, if it's a certain account that we want to just get on the phone with, like, and qualify, like, great, but there's some others where it's like we want them to, fill out, give us more information before we even waste our time getting on the phone with them. So should we do like a form that gets sent out to that email after they inquire if we don't want to jump on the phone with them right away? I'm just trying to decide if the form should be, because I also don't want the form to be so crazy that nobody fills it out, right, on the
Right, right,
website.
right.
So do you think it would make sense to have it set up the same way and then just send out a Zoho form to those leads to
Well,
complete, and then have a rep follow up with them after that?
yeah, it's a great question. It's basically the quality of what that lead is, and if you should pursue
Right.
it or not. Yeah.
Right.
So what I'd say is you probably still want to collect it into
Mm-hmm.
the CRM because perhaps the timing is not right now, but the timing could be fantastic a year or two from now. So you don't want to miss that opportunity. Maybe they just need to grow up a little bit, have some more revenue. But I would say in the form itself, if you can get like two questions that might flush them out, that could be like number of employees, because that would indicate size, or maybe revenue. That would also indicate size, or whatever other your qualifiers might be. Are they going to have money, and is their order going to be a decent amount? So this is probably
Right.
what you want to see is that you could score it. So we could take the answers to those questions and apply a score to it from 1 to 10. And so
Mhm.
if they score those 8 or 10, then what happens? That lead comes in, it's more important, and you can score it higher. And yeah, then you notify the rep, let's say. But someone that's
Mhm.
kind of not that great, maybe there's potentially another series of questions that you could ask and say,
Right.
do you have funding and what's your story? That could actually lead them to another form that the one that qualifies doesn't need to go to, but the one that needs to be flushed out more could actually go to a secondary form to gather more information. So just to give you an idea, that way your logic is there. You can get the priority ones over to your reps. Still, it goes into as a lead. The ones that don't qualify themselves just yet, or maybe they do the secondary form and they provide more information, you score them a certain way. And then the people that are just like looky loos and they, just have a startup and they're really excited about having your shirts, then they go into as a lead, but they're just the lowest lead. And it may be junk. I mean, honestly, you might have somebody go through those and go, this is just junk, throw it away. But maybe
Mhm.
not. Maybe it could be a startup. You don't know where they're going to go, and then within 18 months, they're a unicorn. And they have millions of dollars to
Right.
spend.
Okay.
Answer your short question, but I'd say you probably still want to capture it, but you just want to filter it and then just say who's, because it's data. If somebody took the time to go to the site, there's at least an
Right.
interest to go to your site. And
Yeah, no, I definitely want to capture it in the CRM, and like right now, it's just getting sent via email. So I'll just get that conversation started with the team as well.
so immediately after the call, I was like, I think other people might have the same question. It's so funny how some of these simple questions is not something I'm thinking about because I've been doing this for so long. So it's a very real question. So we're going to show you in the next few minutes how to put it together yourself using Zoho Forms and Zoho CRM, how you can do your own scoring. And if you don't have Zoho, go in the link in the description below and get your free 30-day trial. Start with that, and then we can help you out, or you can do well on your own just by watching YouTube videos, especially Zoho Academy. So if you haven't already, subscribe, like, add a comment, ask us questions. Glad to help. All right, here we're going to start in Forms, and I'm just going to jump right into this. So I had already created most of this, but I'm going to walk you through it as well. So you can see here, I've got a couple forms. There's another video we did talking about booking time. This is a lead form we created. Let me go into edit so you can see it. And maybe I'll take a step back. Let's do this just because you're starting out. And if you haven't done a form before, you just go to new form. You pick a standard one or a card one. Now the card one, you might like that style. It's like you fill out a portion of it and then it moves to the next card and you fill out a portion of it. I tend to like the standard one still. So you just click standard and you put the title in, and that's what we ended up with this here. So let's go into edit. all I did is dragged over the name here, and that splits it into first name and last name. And I dragged over the email, put that here. And then I did a radio button that did this one here. So a radio button means you select one of these. You can't select more than one. The other option is a checkbox, which means you can select more than one. Well, in this case, if it's what's your annual revenue, that's your scoring mechanism. You're going to have to pick one of them. You can't do two of them. I mean, you kind of can, but not in radio. In the checkbox, you would be able to pick two of them. Okay, so I go into properties here of the radio button, click this, and you'll see that there's an advanced thing here, and it says assign values. So what we do is we assign a simple value of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 based on what they selected here. Okay, so that's saved now. Then what I did is I went into integrations. So that's a simple form. You could add more to it, clearly more questions or whatever, but just follow the concept and the principle of it. So in here, we picked leads. That's where it's going to go. There's only one layout called standard. And we selected the last name. You have to do that. It's mandatory in the CRM. So we use that name field and last name. Then we added first name, and we added email, and then we added initial score. Now that field does not exist. Well, it did not exist until I added it. And I'll show you how to do that real quick here. So in the CRM, if you go into the little setup up here in the upper right, modules and fields, go into the leads, go into that layout. And then what I did is I added a number field here for initial score. You can see, you can tell which ones are custom fields and which ones are standard fields. Standard means it just came with Zoho. The custom ones are the ones that are kind of this orangish color here. Okay, so I did a number field. That's what we needed to do the score. Okay, so we did the initial score. We tied it to what's your annual revenue. It's not going to take the answer to it. It's going to take the score to it. So then what we need to do is make sure the integration is connected. So we've got automation and process management, which means it will trigger a workflow rule. And that's what we're going to do in the CRM in just a moment. And then upsert a record means if somebody actually already had that email and they're filling out the form again, it's going to update that record for whatever case may be that you would do that. So I tend to always do those two at least, and then you can work on the other things. Oh, the other thing I did too is I added a tag here. So I wanted to add a tag so we can see when we do the workflow in the CRM is how do I identify that it came from this source. It's not like somebody just added a lead in the CRM itself. It's, somebody actually used this web form to do it. So what I did here is if I click here and you go add input manually, so I can pick a field that's in the form or I can add one manually. And that's what I did. I just added one manually. So let's say your site has multiple different forms, different pages for it. So you might have, a wholesale dealer that you're working with. You might have retail centers you might work with. You might have clients, direct customers you're working with. You can identify those forms by creating a tag for it. Okay, so that's done. Click integrate. That's going to integrate it. All right, now we come back over to the CRM and we're going to go into the workflows. Close that up, automation workflow. And in the sake of time, I just created it ahead of time so you could see it. So here's new web form lead score. So what I did is the rule will be executed when the lead is created. Okay, so let me go back to, we'll fill out the rest of this, but I'm going to go back to when you create a new rule so you can see what it looks like. That first question, so it doesn't like, oh, it didn't say that. It does, but just it's going to look different. Test, let's call it test. All right, so execute this workflow rule based on, it's like, oh, there's nothing here about creation. So if you do record action, then you see it says create. The option is create or edit, or when you delete something. So those are the options there. All right, so go back in. So when it's created, so you can see record action, create. Then we say, what's the condition? Like, what is it going to look for? It's going to look for that tag that we had for that web form, which is web form, that we just did a second ago in forms. And then we're going to say, let's look for the initial score, because in this web form, it's feeding in that initial score, either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we say, okay, if it's under 2, then we're going to add a new tag, which if you look at what this option looks like. You click on Instant Actions, Tags, Add Tags, and we already added one called a poor score. So if you wanted to add a new one, you would just type in a new tag, and you can see it already creates a new tag for it. So that's all I did. I just added in a poor score, fair score, good score, and excellent score as different options for tags. So let's put this back to poor score. Okay, so it's going to tag that as poor. Then the second condition is if that one's not met, right? The initial score is greater than 2. Then we did this one, tag as web form. So it's only going to look at those ones, not other leads. And the initial score is between 2 and 6. So if the initial score is filled in, you may not really need number 1, but I kind of just want to illustrate that functionality, I guess. So this one we're going to say initial score is between 2 and 6. We'll call this one a fair score. Condition 3, the initial score is between 7 and 9, and that's a good score. And then if condition 4, which is the initial score equals to 10, it's going to be an excellent score. Okay, so go ahead and save that. And then when we go over to forms and you access the form and we fill in one, let's do Mickey Mouse again. We'll do Donald Duck. Donald Duck, and we're going to say it's 250 to $1 million in revenue. Submit. And we go back over to the CRM and we look at the new leads. Where you at? Leads. Here's Donald Duck. And it created a web form. It showed the tag for web form. And it's a fair score. The next thing you can do is, as these come in, you can create a filter, like a pre-filter for these. And let me go ahead and do that for you just so you can see. So you can use tag. We're going to tag it is fair score. Apply that. We're going to save it. We're going to call it fair score. So you can see it pops it up right here. We've got a new one here. Let's do another one for excellent score. And you can see there's nothing there because there's no excellent score. Okay, excellent score. All right. Now we clear the filter, but you can still see here's fair score, excellent score. So you can do a real quick search. All right, let's do another one real quick, and we're going to do Daisy. It's Daisy Duck, right? Daisy Duck, and she's going to be excellent. So let's submit that. Go into leads, leads again. Let's refresh this. It's probably processing. So here's something, if you do that and it's like, oh, it didn't show up, look in all entries here. And you can see it's pending. It's still trying to add that record, so it hasn't finished it yet. That's why it hasn't shown up in the CRM. Let's try to refresh this here and see if it shows up. Well, how did Daisy show up with a fair score? That is not right. So let's see what happened. What do we have? So that would be adding a tag for fair score. But she has a score. Let's see what her score is. It's 5. What did I do before? Did I do it through 10? I did, didn't I? Ha. Okay, so let's go, and you guys probably caught that already. Let's look at workflow rules. We'll look at this again, and it's because I did it wrong. Okay, it's greater than 2, 2 to 6. That's why she's fair score, is because of that. Okay, let's do, between 2 and 3? Let's do 2 and 3. Done. Yep. And this one is if it's 4, equal to 4. And then we'll do this one as 5. You guys, again, probably caught that. I just didn't catch it. Okay, change the criteria. We'll go ahead and save this. Wait, please. Check the conditions. Return will always be false. This condition will be ignored. Because it's between. Let's do 1 and 3. 1 and 4. Yeah, let's do that. 1 and 4. There we go. Okay, let's go back to the lead. We'll delete Daisy Duck. Here we go. See you, Daisy. Sorry, you'll come back again. All right, let's go back lead form. Daisy duck. And she was 10 million, right? All right, let's see what happens now. Refresh. Again, it's probably still pending. Let's refresh this. All right, looks like the record was added. Let's refresh this. Good. And now you can see it's excellent score. And over here in that pre-filter, you can see there's the fair score and there's excellent score. If I click this, it's going to show Daisy Duck. If I click this, it's going to show Donald Duck. And then I can clear the filter here too. Cool. So hopefully that helps at least give the basis for what you can do and how quickly it is to put that together. Obviously, I made a little hiccup there because I wasn't a score of 1 to 10. It was a score of 1 to 5. But that helped you kind of go back and diagnose what could have happened and to be able to update that workflow. Hopefully it's helpful for you, and have a great day. Hey, if you made it all this way, congratulations. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments below if it was helpful or not, or like it. Subscribe to us. We want to continue putting out these videos to help as many people as we possibly can to utilize the leverage of Zoho and what it can do for your company. The other thing you might want to do if you want our assistance personally one-on-one is go to the edkinsgroup.com. There's a link in the description below. /engagement is how you can work with us on a monthly basis for advisory and guidance and to help you. We can help you shortcut your learning curve if you're still trying to learn this yourself. Again, if you watch this and you're like intrigued and you don't have Zoho for yourself, click the link below that says it's edkinsgroup.com /Zoho. That'll get you a free 30-day trial, which as a partner, we can extend it for you for an additional 30 days if need be. Anyways, hope that helped. Again, like, subscribe like everybody else asks, but hopefully you see value in this. Let me know. If you have any questions, just add them in the comment below. Have a great day.